All right, good afternoon, everyone. My name is Catherine Weber, and as the Lending Services Librarian of the Lewiston Public Library, I would like to welcome you all to Great Falls Forum. The Forum is a monthly speaker series featuring leaders in the areas of business, public policy, academia, and the arts, and is a partnership of Bates College, the Sun Journal, and the Lewiston Public Library. This year marks the 26th season of the Great Falls Forum. We want to thank you for your support and ensuring the program's continued success. Today's program is also streaming live via Zoom and Facebook, and a recording will be available on the library's YouTube page. Please visit lplonline.org for more information. Also mark your calendars for our next Great Falls Forum on October 19th for a talk featuring Jonathan Labonte, Transportation Systems Director for the City of Auburn. More information on that will be available soon. At the conclusion of today's program, there will be an opportunity for audience questions. Those in the room are, of course, welcome to raise their hands, and those joining us virtually can enter your questions using the Q&A feature on Zoom or comments on Facebook, and we'll read these aloud to our speakers. And now I have the pleasure of introducing today's featured speakers, Cara Valentino and Brandon Hotham. Cara Valentino is the CEO and president of the Dempsey Center. Cara is a certified executive coach and organizational development consultant with more than 25 years of experience across the public, private, and social sectors. Her expertise includes partnering with teams to shape and bring their visions into reality. Cara moved to Maine from Washington, D.C. in 2021 and currently resides in South Portland, enjoys doing yoga, getting outside, and exploring all that Maine has to offer. Brandon Hotham is the Chief Experience Officer at the Dempsey Center. In his role, Brandon uses his public health, healthcare, and analytical knowledge and experience to ensure the Dempsey Center offers purposeful programs and services to clients. A lifelong Mainer, Brandon enjoys the seasons Maine offers, and you can often find him outside in the woods or by the water, spending time with his husband, family, friends, and dogs. Please join me in welcoming Cara and Brandon to Lewiston. Before we hear from them, I'm now going to turn things over to Caitlin Davis, the Marketing and Communications Director at the Dempsey Center.
Hello, everyone. Thank you so much for having us here today. As Catherine mentioned, my name is Caitlin Davis. I'm the Marketing and Communications Director at the Dempsey Center. If you haven't seen, Dempsey Challenge season is here. It is upon us and it is happening this weekend. So we're so excited to be here talking about what the Dempsey Challenge is supporting, and that is the Dempsey Center. I'm excited to pass it over to Brandon and Cara a little bit later, but before I do that, I just wanted to let you know a little bit about the history of the Dempsey Center. If you've lived in Lewiston or the Auburn area for a while, you've probably heard of us. We opened in 2008 as a part of Central Maine Medical Center, and we were founded by actor Patrick Dempsey and his family after his mother Amanda's experience with cancer. While they found great medical care for Amanda through her journey, there was little support found for the rest of the humans going through the journey. Cancer doesn't just have a medical and physical impact, it extends so far beyond that, socially, emotionally. And he wanted to find support for not only their family system, but others who are going through the same thing as well. Our humble beginnings here in Lewiston evolved as we watched the need for our support services, all provided at no cost, increase over the years. A few years after we opened, we expanded and relocated to where you can find us today at 29 Lowell Street on the 5th floor in our beautiful space there in Lewiston, which you can see here. We expanded again in 2017, merging with a like-minded center in South Portland, the Cancer Community Center. We are still located there today, serving folks in Cumberland County, and also, as we do here in Lewiston, providing our services virtually. We began the path in 2017 as well to opening our first hospitality home for people who had to travel for cancer treatment in Portland. This is Clayton's house. We started seeing clients at Clayton's house in 2021, and we continue to do so today. Folks who have to travel over 30 miles for cancer treatment can stay here for no cost. It is a home, as you can see, our kitchen inside, living room, nestled right in the East End in Portland, close to Maine Med, New England Cancer Specialists, and other treatment centers in the Portland area. When COVID-19 hit Maine, our number one goal was to not only keep our clients safe while they were at home, but also to provide high quality support for them in an already isolating situation. We were able to pivot our services and provide them virtually, reaching not only our clients here in Androscoggin County and those in Cumberland County, but we were able to reach new clients in corners of Maine that we hadn't been able to before. Today, we continue to provide our services virtually, reaching people throughout Maine, and we serve over 100 clients outside of the state as well. Brandon will tell you a little bit more about all of those services in a moment. But we're so grateful to be a part of the Lewiston Auburn community and the community of South Portland, and to have the Dempsey community globally. I'm now going to turn it over to Brandon, and he can tell you a little bit more about exactly what it is that we do. Brandon?
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Brandon Hotham. I'm the Chief Experience Officer at the Dempsey Center. I have what I believe is one of the best jobs in the world. I get to work with and support all of the staff at the center who work directly with our clients, providing all of the services that we offer to our clients. Our services are available to anyone impacted by cancer, so not just the person with the diagnosis, their immediate care partner, that's the person who's potentially standing alongside them as they navigate their experience and journey with cancer, also families and friends, loved ones, youth. We really try to take care of anyone who's surrounding the patient who is impacted by that individual's diagnosis. The client experience team at the center is made up of several different folks. We have, as I go through the different services, various different staff members who work within each of our service lines, if you will, providing services directly to our clients who are impacted by cancer. These are folks like licensed clinical social workers who are oncology social work certified, nutritionists and dietitians who are registered, and also oncology nutrition board certified. Also massage therapists who have specific training in oncology massage. It's really important to us as we think about the credibility of our program for our staff to be credentialed and licensed to the highest possible degree if there's any form of oncology certification that exists for their particular subject matter expert or expertise area, excuse me. And they, as Caitlin mentioned, their number one function is to provide support to our clients. So whether that's someone coming in to seek counseling support, whether that's someone coming in to just have an hour break by getting a massage, really their number one job is to make clients feel welcome and make clients feel supported as they navigate services at the center. So at the center, we really aim to support traditional medical treatment that cancer patients are going through. We want to do that by providing integrative health support to them throughout their journey and really making sure that we're meeting them with compassion and also providing them a lot of choice. So clients don't need to access all of our services. They can access whatever services feel most applicable to them. Also, we have clients who come to us right when they're initially diagnosed. Their oncologist will refer them directly to us, but we often also have folks come to us who are a few years post-treatment and they're still struggling to get back to what they would consider sort of a post-treatment life. Cancer has a lifelong impact, even for folks who are able to survive the illness and survive the experience. And so we really want to make sure that we offer programs that can support someone regardless of where they're at in their cancer impact journey. Our services focus on social well-being, emotional well-being, physical well-being, functional well-being. We're really trying to surround that individual with all possible support that they might need as they navigate an experience with cancer. And we have sort of 4 core tenets to what we consider our Dempsey Center model of care for our clients. The first just being our evidence-informed and integrative services that we offer. These are, again, meant to improve patients' outcomes and also increase their quality of life, and also for all of those folks, again, who surround them throughout that journey. So one of our core programs is counseling. We offer counseling to individuals and families. We will support couples if we need to provide couples counseling, really any form of counseling that they need that's related to their cancer or oncology experience, we can help provide that. For complementary integrative therapies, We do a lot in this space. So we have a nutrition program. Those are classes and consults. So clients can come to group classes to learn how to cook, how to navigate side effects related to treatment that might be impacting their ability to eat or eat appropriately. And also clients can meet one-on-one with a nutritionist for a nutrition consultation if they're having very specific concerns that they need to have addressed nutritionally. We have our movement and fitness program, very similar to nutrition in the sense that it offers both classes that are groups and also one-to-one consultations with a cancer certified movement and fitness specialist. So they can address situations like mobility. Maybe someone was really active pre-treatment and now they're wondering how they can continue to be physically active while they're navigating treatment. Maybe someone wasn't super active pre-treatment and now they want to live a more physically active lifestyle as a result of their cancer. So again, regardless of where those individuals are at, we can offer support to them in terms of how to navigate that. And then we have a whole array of what we call bodywork services. So those are acupuncture, Reiki, and oncology focused massage. So again, folks can come in, seek those therapeutic integrative benefits from those different services. Acupuncture can complement a lot of the main side effects that come with treatment, as can oncology massage. So again, we're really trying to help people ease the impact of cancer and the side effects of treatment. From a comfort and well-being perspective, we have several different programs that fall into that category. We have our Dempsey Dogs program. So that's a therapy dog program where we have, through a collaborative partnership with pet partners, volunteers bring in therapy dogs that are trained to work with clients. It's just as fun for staff as it is for our clients. Our staff love that program as well. It's great to have dogs in our center who are trained and just bring comfort to whoever interacts with them. As Caitlin mentioned, we have our hospitality home, Clayton's House in the East End of Portland. That's a 4-bedroom house located in the East End. Clients traveling 30 miles or more for treatment can stay there at no cost. They might be traveling to Portland for treatment. They might be traveling through Portland down to Boston or New York, depending on where their treatment site is. So again, that's just a resource to make that travel a little less burdensome for folks who do have to travel for treatment. We also offer wig and headwear styling and items. So clients can come to us and get free wigs, free headwear pieces, and also learn how to care for those items as they're going through treatment. We also offer comfort items, things like quilts, support protectors, heart pillows, various other items that we can give to clients just to make their experience as they're navigating cancer a little bit nicer. And we also have a lending library and a take one leave library at all of our locations. And I'm seeing claps from the library staff here, which is incredible. Yes, we love it and our clients love it as well. We really do our best going to kind of the next tenet of our core model of care, in addition to our services, to remove barriers to access, whether that's physical or financial. So as Caitlin mentioned, we have our brick and mortar centers. We have our flagship location here in Lewiston. We have our second location in South Portland. We have Clayton's House in Portland. But we also launched during the pandemic period our fully virtual campus, Dempsey Connects. We went from having clients in 3 counties in the state to clients in all 16 counties of the state. We also now have, as Caitlin mentioned, a few hundred clients outside of the state and even some global or international clients. We have some clients from other countries who are accessing our services now as well, which is great. So we really try to meet folks where they're at. We found still even that COVID until recently, it's starting to pick back up again if you're watching the incident rates, but even as COVID started to settle over the past couple of years, a lot of our clients still wanted to access services virtually. Most of our clients are immunocompromised as a result of treatment or a result of their cancer, so them not having to travel reduces anxiety and still allows them to access our services, which we found to be really important. So our virtual services will continue to be a core part of what we offer. We also, due to some generous congressional funding, are going to be launching mobile units in the next couple of years. So we received federal funding to help us actually create some mobile Dempsey centers that we will drive up into the northern part of the state, particularly in very rural communities, so that we can reach folks who just aren't able to reach us. And we're talking now internally about whether that'll be at places like community libraries or at hospitals or at grocery stores, really just trying to meet people where they are so that that transportation logistic doesn't continue to potentially be a barrier for them. The most important part of our access piece here in terms of our tenets of our model of care is that all of our services are provided to our clients at no cost. We don't charge for anything. We don't collect insurance information. There's no financial screening. We don't ask for people's income. There's no sliding scale. Anyone impacted by cancer can access our services at no cost. And we do that because we know from the data that exists out there around this that cancer is a very financially toxic situation for anyone to be in. Even someone who has very good insurance coverage, it still costs quite a bit of money to navigate cancer. And so we don't want financial access to be a barrier for the folks that we serve. We really try to provide resources to our clients in terms of their entire social or familial structure. So, we really try to provide individual and group programs, individual programs and programs for families. As Caitlin mentioned, we recognize that everyone surrounding a patient is impacted by cancer. Further, we recognize that everyone's experience with cancer is really, really unique. Everyone is going to have a different experience, but we also find that clients want to and often do build a lot of connection with one another based on the shared experiences that they're going through. So we really try to offer programming that meets both of those needs, both folks who want to access us in a more individualistic way, if you will, versus folks who want to access us and really build community with one another. We try to vary our programming so that we can meet both of those needs. We use the term center purposely, right? We want it to be the center of what our clients are navigating. We want it to be a place where they can come and feel welcome and feel calmed and feel supported. So that, the usage of that term is very intentional. Our final tenet is that we really want to help our clients navigate the different choices that they have. We have a role at the center called Client Journey Navigators. Those are licensed clinical social workers that clients will meet with when they're first oriented to the center. As I mentioned before, our clients come to us at all different places within the cancer journey. And so we do a lot of listening in that initial intake appointment. Every person's situation is unique. And we know that just because this client is, maybe this gender, this age, has this specific diagnosis, their needs are going to be different than someone else who falls into those exact same categories. So our Client Journey Navigators, or CJNs, as we call them, really listen to our clients, find out what their needs are, and then match them to whatever services we can offer that will be most beneficial to them. They also follow those clients throughout their journey with the center so that we can really monitor over time if their needs change, right? Someone coming to us initially at initial diagnosis, they're going to have needs or match to services that are just different 2 years from that initial diagnosis period, especially once someone has completed treatment, if they choose to go through treatment. I want to be clear that even though a lot of our programs are evidence-based and research-informed around what can complement traditional treatment, we also have a lot of clients who choose not to seek treatment, right? Depending on where they're at in their journey, and our programs can support those individuals as well. Just a little bit of stats for you about sort of client impact and client feedback. So we do an annual client survey where we survey all of the clients we've provided services to in the previous calendar year. In 2022, 95% of our respondents reported that the Dempsey Center did make their life better as it relates to their cancer. Our Net Promoter Score, that's sort of a internal marketing business trend metric. I don't know if people are familiar with that metric, but essentially it asks clients, how likely are you to recommend the center to a family member, a friend, or a colleague who's also navigating cancer? Our Net Promoter Score is 86. Industry trends say that anything 50 and above is good. Anything above 80 is considered exceptional across multidisciplinary businesses. So we're very proud of that. And again, we want our clients to feel good about what they're receiving from us. And also, word of mouth is our number one referrer. Most clients come to us because they've heard from someone in their family or in their community that we could offer this support. So that external opinion of us is very important, right? We want to make sure our clients are very, very satisfied. So I love my job. I love the work we do at the center. I could continue to talk about what we do and what we offer, but I think next it's probably best if I just share with you some of the testimonials we've heard from clients, and I'm going to turn that over to Caitlin to handle that.
It's just a few words that we've received from our clients, from the client survey, actually. Sorry, I have to share screen, right? Okay, sorry.
My name is Lauren, and I'm the care partner to my wife, Pamela. That's my place in the cancer journey. Pamela received her cancer diagnosis in March of this year. I didn't really know much and didn't really know what I could do. When Pamela brought to my attention that there was this Dempsey Center that could be supportive to the role of the caregiver, it became something that I really wanted to look into. Being that we live 100 miles away, if it wasn't for the Clayton House, we would not be able to have the care and treatment that she is doing currently. Being required to have a care partner at the Clayton House, I went through the orientation process with the Dempsey Center and learned of these other services, which I have taken advantage of. I'd say that by the time we were through radiation treatments and on into the next phase of Pamela's treatments, I was pretty stressed. Some of the services that I've personally taken advantage of or made use of at the Dempsey Center are Reiki, acupuncture, counseling, which I do remotely by Zoom. There's massage there that I'm hoping to take good advantage of. And these are services that I didn't even realize, number one, that I needed. On top of that, there's been some educational webinars about caregiver support and actually getting educated as to the full range and spectrum of what might be in store. Accessing the services remotely for us is a huge benefit. There's nothing like this local to us. It's a win-win situation, really. We're in the comfort of our own home, even though now we're feeling quite at home here at Clayton House. My wife and I have been professional keepers. The importance of hospitality, the function of the innkeeper to bring the client into a comfortable atmosphere and to feel at home is huge, and it's been well done here. It's not overdone, it's not luxurious, it's not ostentatious, it's very home-like. The Clayton House is a home away from home. One of the tangential benefits is just feeling cared for. And I would highly recommend it to anyone. Come in person, speak with the staff, look at the facility and see if it can't meet your needs. I kind of want to keep in mind that maybe this is the beginning of a long journey, that there is help along the way.
Hi, everyone. Can you hear me okay? How many of you were already familiar with the Dempsey Center? Did you know all the services that they offered or that we offer? Had you known all of those existed? Yeah, a little bit. Yeah. Some, have you ever volunteered with the Dempsey Center or been to visit it? Yeah. Yeah, thanks for visiting. We're really thrilled. Our Lewiston location, if you haven't been, I offer up, please come and visit. It's a truly beautiful, warm and welcoming space, and we're really, really excited to be there, and to be able to serve in this capacity. I'm Cara. As Caitlin referenced and as Catherine referenced, I moved from Washington, D.C. to be here, but my grandfather was born in Perry, Maine, if you know it, in Washington County. Yeah, I know. Thanks for that. That's exactly. I think it's something we've grown to like 1,000 people there now in Perry. But so he was from Perry, Maine, and my parents live in York. So I had been looking for the last 21 years to get back to Maine, and to be here. And the Dempsey Center was my opportunity to serve in that way. We just showed you Clayton's house, which is our hospitality home. Clayton's house came to us from a family who lost an individual member named Clayton Anderson. And so that's why it's named in his honor. And that's why we have that home. That's where his family and friends resided as they cared for him prior to him losing his journey with cancer. A few more pieces of information about what we do. Last year, we served 2,200 individuals in the entirety of the year. That includes families, youth, individuals online, and most of those 2,100 were from Maine. This year, as of the beginning of September, we've already served 2,200 individuals. We think that we're going to serve approximately 4,000 this year. And part of the reason that the demand has increased, as you know, was COVID, some of the medical provider shortages, which I imagine some of you are really familiar with, from across the state, as well as just folks finding out about the services and then having the virtual option. So if they don't feel well, or if weather's bad, or if they can't drive that distance, they have access to it. So it's something that we're really proud to be able to continue to do. In addition to that, as my team referenced, we were in the federal appropriations allocated funding to get mobile units. And part of the idea behind the mobile units and the virtual is folks sometimes don't know what we do or how those services might land, as the gentleman in the video referenced, or what the cumulative effect of those could be for yourself as a patient or for any of your care partners. So mobile units also give us an opportunity for people to try it and to see what might be useful for them in terms of services. We have our 2 locations, one that we inherited in our merger with Cancer Community Center in South Portland. That's half the size of our Lewiston Center. So next year, we are moving to Westbrook from that South Portland Center so that we can have more space in order to serve clients. At present, in our South Portland location, none of us here can even go in to visit because there's not room. We've repurposed the entire center to be client focused. And we continue to see those increased numbers of visitors year over year. So we hope Lewiston and South Portland, now to be Westbrook, will continue to grow and thrive in those ways. Some of our additional vision for the center is something that we launched this month, which I've been terming Dempsey on Demand. I haven't gotten my team to brand it for me yet, but on demand services. And one of the reasons that's really important is if something's offered and you have to be at work or you're not feeling up to it, you now have access to visit at any time to take, for example, yoga for cancer care or one of our cooking classes. The other reason is for folks like me who are terrible cooks. The thing that I could do with that video is pause it or replay it so that I can really have somebody side along with me so that I don't put in the extra salt that I always think it needs, but it never actually needs. So those are some of the reasons that on demand have become really important to us. We're also, as we've been talking about, trying to remove barriers. So another piece that we did was we partnered with the National Digital Equity Initiative here in Maine, and we're able to give out 17 cell-enabled tablets in the past year and a half to folks in areas where they didn't have broadband. Or were in areas where they just really didn't want to travel because of the distance. So everything we do tries to remove those barriers. And then the third piece I'll talk about with regard to removing barriers to access is we've also brought in interpreter services. So we've got the capacity both in our Dempsey On Demand, again, please brand that, our Dempsey On Demand, and in terms of our services overall, to work with folks in French, in Somali, in 14 languages online and 18 in our centers, so that we can work with folks who might have seen that as a barrier to access. Those are some of the ways we're trying to broaden our reach, because each year, approximately 10,800 individuals just in Maine alone are going to be diagnosed with cancer. That number is up significantly from prior to COVID, when it was about 8,000 a year. So our goal in meeting these 4,000 this year, and that includes the care partners and the loved ones, is soon in the coming years, we want to be able to reach all 10,800 newly diagnosed, as well as their care partners and loved ones. So that's the work that we're trying to do in Lewiston and across Maine and beyond. I'd love to know if you have any questions that can fuel any other pieces of information I could share for you.
Hi, thank you all for being here and for your amazing work. In particular, I'm grateful for your commitment to access, economic access, and as well as your kind of newer commitment to geographical access in Maine. And I really appreciate also the new interpreter services. I guess I would, this is like based in ignorance. So if I'm going to say, I would love to encourage you to, and you might then say, oh, and we do that already, but I'm going to go ahead and put it in the mode of, I would love to encourage you to consider that even in Lewiston, your kind of ground zero location, I can imagine a need for and how useful it would be to use your mobile Dempsey Center to show up at the Tree Streets block party, for example, or to set up outside of the B Street Health Clinic. And, you know, we have so many people in our community who would see that big building and think it was for other people.
Yeah.
And I just would like to encourage you to think about, and maybe, I mean, I think it would be an amazing thing. I took a tour just in the last couple of months. It was amazing. I learned also, just a shout out to our audience that may be joining us virtually, there are a lot of volunteer opportunities that are really cool, like community garden or tea tour and self-care tips, self-massage. They need 2 volunteers for October 5th from 2 to 3 p.m., for example, right? So there are all these amazing ways to get involved and support the work. And I was saying that because it linked to something I was going to say. But anyway, I know. I took the tour.
Yeah.
And it's, you know, it is just, and I had seen it years ago, but now it's just so beautiful and so lovely. And I want more people in our community of Lewiston, Auburn, to get in there, and people who look at that big building and think it's for someone else to realize it's for them. And I think with your mobile unit, I just think that would be a way of helping folks in this community. Like, you know, St. Mary's Nutrition Center has a building and they have the Good Food Bus.
Yep.
And that Good Food Bus also, you know, serves seniors in this community, right? So
Yes.
just thinking in that mode, I would encourage you to do that. But thank you for the amazing work that you do.
Sure. I'm Kara. Tell me your name.
I'm Darby.
Derby, if you ever want a position at the Dempsey Center, you're hired. Yeah, Caitlin's looking for marketing resources. I love that you even read the time and date. I love what you're saying, and I think that's a really what you just framed is so hugely important, and my team is probably nodding in every direction. Hugely important for everyone, because we even hear that with folks like, oh, I have health insurance, so I don't need to come and see you all. Like, they think it's not for me. It's not for me. And so I love the idea of being further embedded in the community where we are through the mobile units. And I think that's absolutely brilliant and a great barrier remover, a barrier buster. Did you have a question? And thank you for the shout out to volunteers. We have 100 to 200 volunteers who help us annually. And the garden, one of our community garden, I'm doing a bad job with this. One of our community gardens is right here at the YMCA in Lewiston, Auburn, and Olick. And then another one's in the south of the state. And those fuel our whole winter soup program, our nutrition program, and now garden shares for community members. So if you are a gardener or you have other skills, we are always looking. I'm sorry, yeah.
I think it's great that your services are free. I had no idea that they were, and I thought you were more integrated with the hospital system and billing and all of that stuff.
Yeah.
So it's all 100% donation supported.
So
Well, except you're getting some federal money now for the mobile units, but
totally, that's the first foray just for the mobile units specifically. So thank you for asking. We are community funded. We do have some corporate partners, but in the work we do and for nonprofits in general, about 95%, this is in general, not at the Dempsey Center, in general, about 95% of funding for social impact organizations comes from individuals. About 5% comes from corporation. That's for your smaller social impact organizations. For the Dempsey Center, we have a huge fundraiser this weekend called the Dempsey Challenge. Our goal is $1.8 million. And as of this morning, 1.6. So that is really truly do other fundraising events over the course of the year. We do have corporate partners that we work with and corporate sponsors, and we do have that one piece for mobile units.
well, congratulations on what you've raised so far. My curiosity is, do you know how many of the mobile units you're going to have for two?
Yes.
Great.
That's what we've been appropriated. We did not appropriate them. That makes it sound like I stole them from someone.
Did those grants come with funding for staffing as well?
Wonderful question. And yes, they do. They come for,
Congratulations.
and really great distinction on this, they come for construction of them. To operationalize them, we will then likely pursue, yeah, it sounds like you're familiar with the federal grant process.
Congratulations on all of that. And
Thank you very much. Thank you very much.
You mentioned you had a lot of volunteers. Darby didn't identify herself as being from Bates College. Are there student volunteers for, say, from Bates or the community college opportunities for that? And pre-meds or students who might think they want to go into social work or whatever, occupational therapy, this would be an eye-opener for them.
It's such a great question. Right now, in terms of our social work, and I'm going to look over here and you all correct me, and I'm going to stand on my tiptoes because I keep bumping this, I'm sorry. In terms of our social workers, we have a partnership with University of New England, and we receive interns from University of New England each year, which really helps us because we cannot hire at the rate that we need. Like, we just don't have the funding. We could hire one for the next 6 months and still not match the need we're seeing, especially in terms of counseling and some of our other services. In terms of Bates, there is a very healthy competition between Bates and some other universities for our college cup at the Dempsey Challenge. And by the way, our COO came from Bates College. If you know her, like, the proudest, like, she is so proud when Bates wins, but those two teams really go at it. Colby's just, I feel like, to the side. No offense to Colby. It's those two really get at each other. But in addition to that, we have started some programs to bring in more university students as volunteers. Is there anything you want to share on that? Take the mic.
Yeah, so we Bates has reached out to us. Some faculty have reached out about specific projects around data work. So we are looking into that. We also, in the past year, for the first time, were able to hire someone to oversee data for the organization. So they're currently working on an existing project that we have for students at the Rue Institute around dashboard visualization and data mining. We've been around as an organization for 15 years. I would say no judgment meant to the place where I work, but we're a little immature in the data space. So really looking for support in that space from students from any university. We are currently hosting a nutrition intern on staff who's going through their master's degree in nutrition. I believe, University of Vermont, I believe. And then Cara already mentioned the social work partnership with UNE. We've also hosted social work interns from USM's program as well. So yeah, any support we can get from students or providing them internship or externship experiences, we're incredibly committed to that. We're also currently exploring a potential to bring on an oncology massage intern from the New Hampshire Institute of Therapeutic Arts. Yeah.
So we have a question from one of our online viewers. What kind, if any, of spiritual support do you offer for patients or families at the Dempsey Center?
That's a wonderful question, and it's something we've considered in a couple of different ways. I'm going to let Brandon talk about if you want to talk about some of the pieces of that. And we have had a couple of offers from folks to begin pastoral programs at the Dempsey Center. It's not something we've yet been able to add to our program. So I'll name that first, and then I'll hand it over to Brandon.
Yeah, within our comfort and well-being offerings, we do have educational programs about sort of end of life, spirituality, how to navigate those situations. One program we didn't mention that we have is we have a legacy in life reflections program where we hire a professional videographer who is trained in motivational interviewing, and they work with our counselor to actually create a video for people who are at end of life so they can leave that with their families as sort of a lasting testimonial for after they pass. So that's an incredibly impactful program. We don't have, to Kara's point, anything in-house on staff that gets at spirituality specifically, or I'll even say further, gets at any particular religious observation, but we do offer educational programs in those spaces if folks are wanting to learn more about those pieces, especially for our advanced cancer clients. So it is something I would say we offer tangentially, but super interested in being able to offer more of that. I'll just add, certainly we have a staff. Our services are at no cost. We do pay our staff. But I'll just highlight not only volunteers in very specific roles that are really critical to our impact, but we also have a lot of community partners who reach out to us and offer to run educational workshops at no charge for our clients, which is incredibly helpful, right? We have people who come in and are experts in various different areas that our staff just doesn't carry expertise around. And so that's really important and helpful. So if you know of any agencies or you yourselves or anyone online, if you're sitting there thinking, wow, I think I know someone who could really provide something to these clients that would be beneficial, we're super open to that. We have a program application on our website. So if anyone is interested in running a program at the center, that there is an application process that you can fill out and give us more information, and someone on our program team will contact you to chat.
Do you offer services to just family members who don't have like a living patient? So like say someone just lost someone to cancer, is there an intake process for that?
We do have grief and bereavement programs that are offered explicitly for that purpose. And just as an aside, it doesn't have to be a family member who's associated for some of our programming. There's a lot that is loved ones, because you could be the care partner of your best friend, the caregiver to your best friend. And to me, there's no distinction there if you've served in that role and you're a friend.
Could you walk us through a little bit of like what the intake process looks like? So say like someone finds out about your center and then they just sort of show up at your door. What happens from there?
Sure, I'll start it and then Brandon will tell me where I go awry. Somebody can walk in, they can call, they can register online. they can talk to their doctor and their doctor can say, you know, you should go check this out, right? They can get to us in many different ways. And that's something else that's really important to us. No barriers to those kinds of access either. And when they come in, they're greeted by what we term a client experience specialist. It's the people who are the face of the center right at the front. And if you've walked in the center in that glorious living room space, there are typically two individuals there, both typically employees or an employee and a volunteer who are trained in how to greet individuals. They'll help with scheduling and make sure that this individual feels warmly welcome when they arrive. Every client of the Dempsey Center gets assigned, for lack of a better term, a client journey navigator. When people have cancer or when a family member or loved one has cancer, you're overwhelmed by choice and yet at the same time feel deprived of choices because you now have this whole new element to your life you never expected. Our client journey navigators are there to stand next to people so that they can make choices for themselves in what they do at the Dempsey Center and not be overwhelmed in another capacity, help them register and enroll for classes. We do require that folks fill out forms because it's really important we know a bit about their medical history. Also important is that we understand where they might be treated, and that's for a longer term reason, because in the longer term, what we'd love to be able to say is when somebody is working with the Dempsey Center, we can show how that has a long-term impact on their health and the health of their family. So we do require medical health forms when they come in and a couple of other forms. We're digitizing those to the best of our capacity right now on limited resources to make it easier and more seamless so that there's an even improved experience. What would you add?
Just that in terms of the process. So when someone comes in, they can sometimes be seen immediately. Given our current demand, often admittedly not. Usually we have to schedule them to come back in. So we definitely recommend people give us a call or swing in if that's easiest to schedule that initial appointment. We call it an orientation, a Dempsey Center orientation. It's an hour-long appointment. A person can come as an individual. They can come with their family. They can come with whomever is around them and supporting them. We want to know that up front so that we have enough staff on hand to be available for that. But it's really to learn from the client about where they're at. Again, what is their diagnosis? Do they understand their staging? Has their treatment plan been determined? Are they accessing treatment? And then on our client registration form, there's a place where clients can indicate, if they know a little bit about our services, what they might be interested in. But really the function of that initial intake appointment or orientation is for our team to listen to the clients. I would say the clients do about 80% of the conversation and our staff does about 20. And to Kara's point, we have so many options for clients, which is great, but we also don't want to overwhelm them because they're already overwhelmed with what they're experiencing. And that's why it's important to us from a CJN perspective to have, for that client to have that person that they know they can reach out to if they have a question about a service or, hey, I met with you 2 months ago and I remember you mentioned something about nutrition and you told me about that Mediterranean diet class and my oncologist mentioned something about the Mediterranean diet. What was that? Is that coming up? Can I get into that? We want to make sure that they, to Kara's point, have no perceived barriers or real barriers. We want to do our best to remove those in any way.
So in terms of your programs and services, is there a particular program or something that you've recently added that you find people are really drawn to, or something that's like wildly popular, or is there anything in particular, or does it sort of range?
So I'll be honest, we're surprised by how popular all of our services are. I want to name that, but something that I've been watching over time, our counseling is our largest request. And that's one-on-one and support groups. That our team talked a little bit about the idea of being a center because we want people to have an opportunity to talk to others who are going through a similar journey. It can feel really isolating, even with your family, to talk about your diagnosis. So our counseling is always pretty much our number one service in demand. What I've noticed recently is our care partner support groups. We open up, and we call it care partner at the center because our clients asked us to, and one of our client advisory councils, it's really just the caregiver who sits next to you. So our care partner support groups, as soon as we launch them, they fill. So that's an area where we've seen increased demand. And the other piece I'll say, which is non-intuitive, but last year we had our Space to Breathe teen camp. It's 4 days at Camp Kiev, if you know it, in Nobleboro. That we had 8 individuals sign up last year. This year we had 26. So we're seeing teen and young adult increases in terms of going for these kinds of support services. And Space to Breathe is really intended prominently for those who have a loved one who is impacted rather than the teen themselves, although we do see teens who are impacted themselves. But 26 is a large number of teenagers to get for a kids camp for 4 days. So we were really excited for it, and we're wondering what that means from a pattern standpoint. I'm looking at Brandon to check all my answers.
And we do have a question coming in about what is the website to register online to run or walk at or ride at the Dempsey. I'm assuming it means the Dempsey Challenge this weekend.
Thank you for asking that. Hold on 1 second.
Lovely. A great way to get to here. Yes, Dempsey Challenge is happening this weekend, Saturday, September 23rd, right down at Samard Payne Park. You can head to dempseychallenge.org to register. And also to tie back into everything that we've been talking about, if you haven't toured our Lewiston location, we actually have an open house happening today and tomorrow. 4 to 7 today, 10 to 7 tomorrow, and you can register for Dempsey Challenge in person as well. So you can come in, tour the center, get a feel for what it is the Dempsey Challenge supports, and then you can sign up to take on the challenge right there.
How many people do you typically have riding or walking or running or doing what they do in the Dempsey Challenge each year?
This year we have, as of last night, we had 2,200 people even participating in the Dempsey Challenge this year. 250 of them are participating virtually. Again, in 2020, we expanded, well, in 2020, our event was completely virtual, but that allowed us to see the global community of support that we have here at the Dempsey Center. The virtual Dempsey Challenge continues to be really popular. We have people not only from all around the state of Maine, but around the country and around the world. We have people from Germany, Brazil, Italy who participate every year, which is really incredible to see. But yes, about 2,000 people will be coming to take on the challenge in person here in Lewiston on Saturday.
And on that note, is there anything that people who are not participating need to know about, like road closures or places that might be shut down?
Yes. Lots of road closures happening on Saturday. If you haven't seen the city of Lewiston and the city of Auburn, who are just so lovely to work with for the Dempsey Challenge every year, but they put up some great banners that you'll see throughout the city about what road closures are happening this weekend. But you can also find them right on dempseychallenge.org. You can go to our participant or our event guide, and that breaks it all down. Also shows where you need to park if you just want to come and join us in the park. It is free to join us in the park on Saturday. We'll have lots of stuff going on, live music, we'll have merchandise for sale. We'll have a mission tent where you can learn more about both the Dempsey Center and the history of Dempsey Challenge, which is something we didn't even talk about today, but is a great way to learn more about that there as well. And you can just be there to feel the energy and the love that comes from the Dempsey Challenge community. The open house hours today are 4 to 7 and tomorrow 10 a.m. to 7 p.m.
Thank you all so much for your curiosity and interest in the work we do. I'm deeply appreciative of this community and everything you give to us. And if we can answer any questions individually, please don't hesitate to ask.
Okay, so we'll wrap things up for today. Thank you so much to Cara and Brandon for joining us. Have a great day, everyone.